everyone, and welcome to another video. How has another week passed? I have no idea. Time goes so fast. It's 2026 already, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite TV shows slash franchises, which is Degrassi. I'll be taking you through some of the timeline of Degrassi, the different kinds of shows they have, and I'll be telling you a little bit about my own Degrassi experience and my favorite characters from the show. Okay, so our Degrassi journey starts over 40 years ago with Kids of Degrassi Street. The first Degrassi thing that was ever made was a little episode, a little short TV special called Ida Makes a Movie. And what it was about, it's about a girl, Ida, and she makes a movie and she gets a lot of praise for it, but she gets praise for it because people think it's about one thing, but actually her movie is about something else. And she doesn't know if she should tell the truth and tell them no, it's not what you guys think it is, or if she should just accept the praise. So that's kind of the dilemma of the first ever Degrassi episode. It started out by just having a little movie per year, and then they got to make multiple episodes together, and it eventually became the Kids of Degrassi Street. I also made a video with the theme song on piano of this Degrassi incarnation, and I think it's very adorable. It's very old, of course, but it's so sweet. It's got some really good episodes in it. And then we go to Degrassi Junior High. That's the first time, the first incarnation in really the timeline that we start in the 80s and that we end, or that's still ongoing in 2016. We follow a group of children in middle school. A lot of them are the same actors from Kids of Degrassi Street with new characters. We have iconic things in this show, such as Spike having her baby Emma. We have Joey Jeremiah, we have Snake, we have Wheels. We have a lot of things happening in this show which weren't on TV before. They discuss big topics such as AIDS, and it was also, I think, the first time that fuck was said on Canadian television. So a lot of new things. It was, of course, by now it's also pretty old, but it's got some really good episodes too. It's got a lot of humor in it. I really like the vibe that it has. They also had some companion books, which I have the German's versions of. So you have schwere Zeiten für Wheels, which is like tough times for Wheels. Wheels is a really good character. And so you have all these books to go with it. Brian's Heiße Sommer. His name is BLT in the Canadian show. We have Lucy. We have Stephanie. That's the first ever episode centers on Stephanie of Degrassi Junior High. We have Caitlin's Big Love. I bet that's Joey Jeremiah. And so we have Degrassi Junior High, but the kids grow older, so then we get Degrassi High, which follows from Degrassi Junior High. These are all able to watch on YouTube. You're all able to watch them there. They're so much fun. And then the school is out at some point. They graduate. What happens next? Nothing happens for 10 years. For about 10 years. And then we get the next generation, Degrassi, the next generation. Because, like I said, Spike, she was 14 in Degrassi Junior High when she got a baby, Emma. And then now the baby is old enough to go and have her own adventures, and is Emma, and is basically the main character of the first season of Degrassi, the next generation. We bring all these new characters in. We have JT, we have Toby, we have Liberty, we have Paige, we have Ashley. So there's a whole new cast of characters, a whole new generation. And we followed them for a lot of seasons. We followed them for a lot of seasons. We even followed them in college for a while. that we have eventually we get characters added into the mix when older characters leave. So we get characters like Adam, we get Declan and Fiona, we get Eli. Um, Adam was also one of the first, I think, one of the first transgender storylines in TV with the episode "My Body Is a Cage," and so the motto of Degrassi is it goes there. Like any kind of hot topics or serious topics that might be in teens' minds, they put in their show, which I think is really, really cool. What makes the show so special, and also again, it's often very funny. Like it's a really good mixture between um, sad scenes and hard scenes and funny scenes because there's so much humor in it as well, which I love. Which I really love about Degrassi. When I got into Degrassi, is when it was on Teen Nick in the Netherlands, and then I saw the first episode I ever saw. I think was when Claire had a crush on Declan. I remember being about 11 years old and seeing Declan and thinking, "Oh, he's handsome," you know. So I started watching, and then the whole Eli and Claire love storyline happened, and that was really intense. And then we had characters like Maya and Zig added into the mix, and Miles, and I really enjoyed these characters as well. There are a lot of people who are more focused on the earlier parts of the next generation, but I love the new characters as well, especially since I wasn't really growing up with the first part of the next generation. I started in season 9. And then we have the move to Netflix. We have the Degrassi Next Class. These episodes, they were like, we didn't get as much per season as we did in the next generation, but it was still good. It was a bit more modern, but it still had like the heart of Degrassi in it, and it had some really really good storylines as well. And but the sad thing is that Netflix canceled it, so we didn't really we did get closure on the year of Zig and Maya, but we didn't get to see what happened to Esme, and I'm still hoping we get to see how her storyline ends because that was kind of a cliffhanger. What's funny is that there's a lot of Degrassi actors right now in Ginny and Georgia. So if you've seen Next Class, and then if you see Ginny and Georgia, you'll see Esme being in there, Frankie is in there, Fiona is in there, Sav is in there. It's got at least 4 Degrassi alumni in that show, which I think is really cool. Um, so now basically that's the journey. We have Kids of Degrassi Street, Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High. Then we have the next generation where Emma is growing up, and also Snake, who was a kid in Degrassi Junior High, and Degrassi High is a teacher in the next generation, and eventually a principal in and in Next Class. He's a principal, so he really grew throughout so many years of Degrassi, which I think is really cool. Um, like imagine starting in a franchise in the mid '80s and then seeing it through to like 2016. Um, that's really cool. So my favorite characters now. I absolutely love Zig. I think Zig is a really good character. There's a lot of mixed opinions by people about Zig, um, saying that he was responsible for some things. I don't think he was responsible. I don't think he knew. Um, I'm trying not to spoil, but also not being too vague. Um, basically, I think Zig has a good heart. I think he's been through a lot, and I just love his storylines. I think the actor does such a good job also at the comedic parts of Zig. Um, he's just a really good character, and I be on Team Zig any day. And I started doing a Degrassi RP where we write storylines together, and we have some Degrassi characters in there. And of course, Zig is my main character, and I started that in late 2020, and it's still going. So that's so cool. And Zig, I knew when I was asked to join, I was like, I could be either Zig or Grace, and then I got Zig, and Zig is just one of my favorite characters of all time. And then, of course, Emma is one of my favorites as well. Without Emma, there would be no next generation. Without Emma, Emma is like the core of next generation, and I've always had a soft spot for Emma. Always will. And then Snake is one of my favorites as well, also because of just being able to see him grow throughout 30 years, if I could calculate. Yeah, throughout around 30 years, which I think is so cool. I think he's a really, really good character. And I feel like he has a strong sense of what's right and wrong. Is he always in the right? Maybe not, probably not. But he I really feel like he cares about his students as a principal. I feel like he was one of the best Degrassi principals we've had. Um, he truly cares about the kids that he teaches, and I think that's a really good quality. That's also part of why I like Zig. I feel like he's really caring. Um, I feel like he do a lot to protect the people that he cares about. Does he always make the best decisions? No, not always. Um, but he really cares. Like you see the way he cares for Esme in next class, and the way he cares for Maya. I think he's really, I think he's really caring. And then who else do we have? Eli, of course. Eli, I've enjoyed Eli since he came onto the screen and he wrote over Claire's glasses in his hearse and then said, "You have pretty eyes." That was iconic. Eli has been very chaotic at times, but it's been a lot of fun to watch him on the screen. He's the actor Monroe Chambers did a great job with Eli, um, and he's also a very caring person. He's sometimes a very intense person, and he's also a very funny person when he's with Jake, especially. That's why for my number 5, it's kind of a tie between Jake and Fiona because I love them both. Fiona, she came. I first saw her like when I started watching Degrassi. She was one of the main characters then, and her acting was really good. Her storylines were really good. I love the friendship Fiona and Drew have. And then we have Jake, who becomes the stepbrother of Claire, and him and Eli, they're just comedic gold together. Jake is just comedic gold in general. I love Jake and Mo being friends, and I just think Jake is really cool. I think Jake is great. So that is some of my thoughts about Degrassi. If you have any questions about Degrassi, let me know. If you want to fight about Zig in the comments, feel free to fight. I'll defend him. Yeah, because I think he's a good character. Have you ever seen Degrassi? What are your favorite characters? Let me know in the comments. I'll be doing some more Degrassi songs. Probably next one will be the Zit Remedy song, but first, next week will be about WWE. So see you then.